All right, so today's project is how to modify a Gibson Les Paul. Most Gibson Les Pauls actually come from the factory pretty good now, and um, they've kind of cleaned up their rap for having bad quality control and not so great guitars coming from their factory. For those of you that have seen any videos on this channel before, I helped Gibson debut their new studio session line, which is this guitar that's in pieces right now. And it became one of my favorite guitars instantly. I love this thing. It plays great and it sings like you can't change the wood. So it played great, it sang great. Unplugged, it was really good. I took the pick guard off immediately because this top needs to be seen, and I want to make this a road guitar. So I'm part way through modifying this right now, and as my soldering iron heats up, wanted to talk about what I'm doing here. So first thing that I noticed about this guitar that I didn't love is this. The PCB board, printed circuit board, wiring. This guitar had coil taps, it had out of phase, and it had a direct output jack wiring in this. I really liked it. I thought it was usable, but I would never take this on tour and rely on a PCB board like this. Between interference and something going wrong, no one's really going to know how to fix this, and I don't know how to fix it. I know how to fix old school wiring. I don't know how to fix this. So if anything ever happened wiring wise, anything goes bad or unplugged or goes for some reason, you know how guitars are. I don't want to rely on this. So this is going. The what's going in there is this 50 spec Throbak set, which I'm really excited about because I have them in that guitar. That's a 92 Les Paul Classic that I have back there, and it's my favorite sounding guitar. And that came with, but previous owner put Throbaks in there, and they are my favorite sounding Les Paul. So, or it is my favorite sounding Les Paul. This is what's coming out, 57 Classics. Who decided that this is a classic? I don't know. I personally just never loved the sound of these. I feel like they're very bitey and upper mid range and not in a way that works for what I do. So I had written Throbak and asked them what would give me the best telly on steroid sound, because that's the sound that's in my head, is a single coil Les Paul that's fatter than a telly but still twangs. And they recommended this set. So this is the LSE 101 Plus MXV. And literally, this is the day of shooting. They just got here this morning, and I couldn't wait to get these installed. So I'm not going to make this a pickup install video because there is enough of those. After that, I'm going to be putting in a Faber ABR conversion kit. And taking this off, the bridge that's on the guitar currently, it's really lightweight aluminum. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, in my opinion, and again, this is just guitar players being neurotic, and maybe there's truth to it. Maybe it's complete bullshit. I don't know. I like a dense, heavier metal for my bridge. I feel like it resonates better. It makes the strings more alive, and you almost feel the guitar vibrate more in your hands, which is a more inspiring way to play. And the second thing is to convert this to an ABR. So right now, the bridge posts that are in here are typical Nashville style mount where there's a female bushing in there, and then this whole piece screws in and you put the bridge on top. So that is 3 pieces of metal, one mounting, one screwing in, and then the wheel. What the ABR is going to do is be just one piece of bell brass shoved in there, and then it's going to be the bridge on top of it. So just the 2 pieces, and that's kind of how the classic on the wall is set up, an old school ABR. That's when the bridge post just goes right into the body. I personally think that there's a difference in that sound. A lot of people will fight and argue. I actually have one of my most popular videos is about that ABR1 bridge, and people are constantly fighting over it in the comments. So go join that war if you're interested. All right, so we got lucky here, and the other pieces came today. So I just swapped the pickups, wiring, everything works, thankfully, after the second try. And now I'm going to show you guys how to set up this Faber bridge and use the new tailpiece. And we're going to throw some new strings on. And if you're thinking I need a proper bench, you are right. I'd love to have an actual bench to work on instead of a piano stool. Let's give that a clean off before we get started. Okay, old pieces versus new pieces. This is the new piece. This is a Faber ABR versus the Gibson Nashville style. So the Faber is a little bit more weighty, a little bit more dense, and made of brass, where this is a lightweight aluminum from Gibson. As you see, Faber Germany on the bottom there. And they actually slot these backwards from one another. Yep, it looks like the Faber is meant to go this way, which is interesting. Okay, so this is going to be gone. We also have the Faber tailpiece. This doesn't feel too different. This is the Gibson one. Faber's got nice branding on theirs. This I almost want to say the opposite, that the Faber is a little bit heavier, or a little bit lighter rather. They're both radius, but the Faber's got a steeper radius. Can you see that? So the Faber has more of a curve to it. As you can see, it curves differently. And yeah, these are going to get mounted to their own new bushings here too. So I'm going to pull out the stop tail first. And now with these, it's going to be a totally different system here. So the stop bar on the Gibson has a top and a bottom to it, but these Fabers do not. So the Faber is actually meant to go all the way down so that you're not having any gap. So this is going to screw all the way down, and if you're wanting more height, you use one of these, which is just picked up a little finish there. This is a spacer, so that when you put the bar on, where's the bar? Right here. So that when you put the bar on, you still go all the way down, and this will now be your height measurement. So if that's too high, it comes with a smaller one. That you could just put right on there, and you screw it down all the way, regardless of the height. I'm probably going to try the taller ones because this one I did have up higher. Let's do it. Now I take the new Faber tailpiece and I go down. I'm screwing it down as tight as it can go, but it still has some lift and clearance. And now this actually will lock instead of being able to fall out. So even with the old Gibson one, when it was like this, if I took the strings off, this would still fall out. But this one is designed to actually be tightened. So this is designed to be tightened all the way down so that now this won't wiggle loose ever. Now that is actually locked down, which is a much nicer feeling. I don't know if it adds any resonance or whatever, but that it's one less thing to worry about. Now this is where it gets interesting. This is the Nashville style bridge that's coming out. So we have this piece and we have a bushing in there. And what comes with the set, I'm going to do one at a time so I can show you before and after here, is this wing nut. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to help me pull this bushing out, or technically, I guess, push it out. So I'm just going to keep screwing this down, and eventually it's going to bottom out. eventually. There we go. Okay, so I just hit the bottom there. Now watch, as I turn it, that bushing's starting to pull out, or the female insert. See it coming out, coming out, coming out. And we're nice and free. There we go. So let's side by side these quick and show you. This is the old way. So this new Nashville style is actually really nice from Gibson. It's not all too different from what I'm about to install here. But yeah, this is the old way. And now we're going to convert this to the ABR. Which is going to just be one piece and a thumb wheel. So this is all one piece is the main difference. So this is going to get hammered into the body and push in. So this will be here, and that's going to push into the body and just have a thumb wheel. So this being two pieces, right? This was formerly two pieces. The whole thing's getting replaced with one firm piece of bell brass, and you're just having a thumb wheel for your height adjustment. So now you're thinking, I'm not just going to start hammering this, right? A little nerve-wracking hammering, but they give you this shell, this sleeve that goes over here so that you can just tap-a-roo. And this is the most nerve-wracking spot because when you're at the very bottom, you don't want to start cracking your finish at the bottom, but you want to make sure that it's all the way in without cracking any of the nitro. And now that is very firmly in place. So you see that sticking out. Maybe one more slight tap. Also, make sure your body's supported. I got in trouble from a bunch of commenters that my body wasn't secure enough when I did this on my last guitar. All right, so let's take a look here. All right, so here's the old one. And you see how this wiggles? I feel like that decreases resonance and makes it not as resonant and loud versus this is just, that's not going anywhere. That's totally firm in the body and just mounted so much tighter than that. This being loose is definitely worse than being tight. This being tight and this being tight, there's less moving parts, there's less wiggle room so that the strings vibrating aren't interrupted by anything. All right, I'm going to do this one and I'm going to pop the bridge up. This is definitely the most fun part, I would say. All right, taking off the old. Using this wing nut. Make sure that distance is going to work. Get the sheath. I'm going to kind of gently press that. Light tap. Stop there and see if I'm on track. So it's a little tight of a squeeze, so I might be off on angle a little bit. So I'm going to give it a light tap. Perfect. Okay, next is your thumb wheels. And this is what's going to make it that vintage style ABR1. Now you can see there's no wiggle at all to this. That's only my finger moving. This is not budging a single bit. I'm going to clean it up and put some strings on, set it up, and yeah, that's not going anywhere. That barely can move. I still have my adjustment wheels. And we're ready for new strings and a setup. Let's do it. All right, so I'm actually a few days later now, and let the strings settle in, stretch them out, really play through them. I can't tell you guys how good and how happy I am with the way that this came out. Yeah, that made sense at the end. I stuck the landing there. This color for me is just everything I want in a guitar. I love the look of this maple top. And now with the inserts, I'm just loving this. I mean, back here is so solid behind the bridge. These stud posts are just so rock solid in there. The guitar just rings so differently unplugged. Check out these two clips that I filmed just with my cell phone of the guitars ringing out acoustically right next to each other. Here's before. And here's after. I personally feel like it's not even close. The guitar vibrates more, like you actually feel it against your stomach, against your body vibrating more. It almost feels like there's an amp pushing it, like there's pushing air in this that's actually helping the guitar vibrate and sustain. Call it placebo, whatever you want it, but I think that those make such a big difference. And the pickups, I mean, you're going to hear it in a second, but these pickups are just the absolute best that money can buy. Throbak, they're just the best. It's just flat out a period and a fact. They do everything the way that the old school PAFs were made, and everything from the casing to the covers to the covers. Yeah, the casing is the covers from the covers to the bobbins, magnets, and then I put in their 50s wiring harness, as we said before, and it's just rock solid. I actually successfully wired it myself, which is always a heart attack. I stuck it on the second shot. I missed the first one, unfortunately. Screwed up a ground wire somewhere, but it can't be perfect, right? I'm going to slide up a little bit so you can actually see the guitar more. And here is some sounds. This is going through my Bassman, 63 Bassman, Surrey Active Load IR, and I've got a little bit of Helix Native room reverb on, and we'll put some effects on as we go, but right now it's just a little bit of reverb. Now, what I really wanted this to be able to do is twang. Quick tuning check there. And then neck pickup, you could still get a lot of really cool bluesy sounds. So even the clean sound here really sustains. That's really good sustain for being through headphones direct. And that's pretty much just the guitar sustaining. Then the middle position, which is really my favorite. This is just awesome. It's telly. So it can do the whole Steve Cropper thing. And so far, clean sounds awesome. I have my KHE amp switcher set up. Now we're going to go over to my matchless HC30, and this is channel 2 for a little bit more of a crunch sound. I love the way the wound strings feel. Even on the neck pickup, they don't get muddy. Now let's go to the higher gain settings here. This is my Bad Cat Jet Black, and this is a high gain setting. So, my friends, that is how you modify your Gibson Les Paul. Everything else on this guitar is awesome. I really like the wood. Obviously, you can't change the wood. Really nicely made guitar. Everything else about it. The nut and the tuners are great. This is a Graphtec nut, so it's never going to bind up or give problems. Tuning pegs are fine. With a Graphtec nut and any decent tuner, you're going to be much better off. I'm no longer a believer in locking tuners. I'm pretty sure it's a conspiracy theory to get us fighting. But yeah, anti-locking tuners. So I'm glad that these are not locking. These are good Grovers. They work great. For a Les Paul Studio, especially being technically a lower end model, having the headstock inlay being mother of pearl like it's supposed to be, binding on the ebony fretboard. It's just a killer guitar. And now I think it's going to be one of my favorite stage and studio guitars with this new setup. So yeah, thank you to my friends from Throbak and from Corsa Faber. This guitar's a beast now. So thank you guys. And if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.